This is a presentation on sustainable BEE, as opposed to the standard BEE, which is where you would present a number of documents in order to get a score. The difference between normal BEE and sustainable BEE is that you don't prepare for an audit, you actually make BEE part of the everyday business, and as a result of what you do every day, you end up getting your score. So if we look at the model, we start with something called socio-economic development. And socio-economic development, actually in its name, means it's not corporate social investment. Socio, the word socio means people in Latin. Economic means the flow of money, and development means enhancement. So it's enhancement of people's ability to flow money. That is a very specific element of corporate social investment. There are things that count as CSI which don't count under SED. Now, the most important elements are education and healthcare in socioeconomic development. And it's education of people who are not employed yet. It's people who are at school or university. It's people who are needing to come through the base level of getting skills so that they can actually get into some form of a job, either their own job or as an employee. So socioeconomic development provides the entry point for South African citizens to get into the economy. And once they've got these skills at school and university and training college, they may now come into an employment area. That's where they get a job. And the first level of benefit from coming in as an employee in a business is to get skills development, to learn. And that learning is about on-the-job learning. It's leadership learning, so where the manager sits down with the junior and teaches them how to do a job better. And then it's formal learning as well. And that's your certified courses, which are run by certified training companies. So skills development becomes the second level of skills that is needed for an individual to sustainably access the economy. SED before they joined the company, and now skills development once they're a member of the employment team. If we get our skills development right, which actually means plotting a skills gap for succession planning, finding out the needs of the business from a junior, middle, senior management requirement, and then training to make sure these people come through the system, you get into something called employment equity. Employment equity is not a report that goes to the Department of Labor. Employment equity is a succession planning function. It's where we start to look at the needs of our business in junior, middle, senior management and making sure that the skills that are being developed in skills development are aligned to the needs of the company. These things work together. Both the socioeconomic development into skills development, making sure we're bringing people into our business from our SED program, and then from our SED program, pushing them up the line into employment equity, which is your management. If we can get that right and we can put the right programs in place, we will move people from employment equity, that senior management position, into management control. And that just carries on moving them through the organization. So they would move into other top management and senior top management. That's your CEO, CFO, and COO in a company. And maybe even onto the board. A lot of companies are bringing in people onto the board from outside of the business, but it's possible to promote people from inside over time. And if you look at that is an entire skills development program. You're talking about skills before people come into your workplace, skills when they arrive at the workplace, and then management skills. We're creating skills for the country. There is this thing of ownership, and traditionally a MD might get shares in a business, but now with trusts and other structures, people who are not the MD may now have shares in the business. So we've put a dotted line there from MC through to ownership. And what that means is that as you become wealthier, you may access the ability to invest, and that brings in income which is not worked for. That might be where you have passive income and hopefully enrichment and wealth that comes from it. Ownership is not a bad thing. It's been talked about very badly, but ownership is required because if we're going to take people to a wealthy status in the country, we can't just have white people who are wealthy. So ownership is achieving that, and you can see it's happening on a daily basis. Now if we look on the other side, you come through socioeconomic development, you can also go into self-employment. That's where you either start your own business or join a very small company as one of the entrepreneurial drivers. And there what we've got is something called enterprise development. Enterprise development has a very specific task, Where socioeconomic development is a skills development function, enterprise development is a job creation function. And it's about making sure that your contributions through enterprise development create jobs. If you don't create jobs there, then there's a lack of understanding around how BE works. We have to have skills and jobs to grow our economy. And if you grow the economy with your efforts as a corporate, and you combine that with all the other corporates in the country, then what will happen is we will see economic growth, which means your potential market grows, which means your turnover grows, which means that your profits will grow as well, and maybe your share price if you're listed. So it's very important to start looking at this from a different angle, not from a compliance angle, but from a business case angle. Why are we doing this? And what kind of impact do we need to have? So, our challenge now. We've got small businesses. We're giving them enterprise development support, but the reason small businesses fail is because they lack skills. There's a lot of money out there. Banks want to give small businesses money if they can find ones that actually know what they're doing. The challenge is having the management there to prove that they know what they're doing and put systems and understand how banks work and credit works. So what we do see happening a lot is that the people that we're giving skills on the left-hand side, on the employment side, are starting to get those skills and to move across into the smaller business or entrepreneurial space. And we need that desperately. That's why the entire skills program on the left-hand side is in place, because we're trying to create these management skills to move across onto the right-hand side so that those businesses can grow. The existing corporates in this country cannot absorb the number of people that are out of work at this point in time. The only solution is to grow other businesses. So we've now given them support, and we've grown skills to be able to put those management skills into those businesses. The thing that's missing is the opportunity, because in preferential procurement, we are looking for the gap to bring the small companies in, but that isn't happening very well. So companies have to drive preferential procurement from a meaningful position as opposed to from we managed to spend some money with a small business, but it wasn't a meaningful spend. We've got to look for opportunities where we can bring these small businesses through, nurture them and grow them in our supply chain so that we end up with more medium-sized businesses and large businesses as a result of our enterprise development programs. So preferential procurement has a specific function, and that is to allow or give access to these new businesses that are coming into being registered in South Africa and allow them to have access to the opportunity to grow. Because if we carry on buying from the big suppliers, we won't grow the economy. Our economy will be stagnant and just grow as the economy grows and then shrink as the economy shrinks. We have to look at preferential procurement, enterprise development as a sort of single unit, make them work together to mitigate risk, but also to give people the opportunity where we're growing them. And that's a strong supplier development program. If you look at that as a whole picture, you can see what BE is really about. And it's one of the things that gives us the hope for BE actually working, because when you look at a scorecard, it doesn't look like this. When you look at this, you can see how the flow works, and you can see what you're meant to be doing in each of these areas. And hopefully as a result of this, you might change some of the activities that you're doing to make sure that you're looking at the required impact to grow the economy as opposed to just how do we get the points.